August 8, 1990. At 3 in the morning, local time, we have arrived at the outskirts of the city of Al Wafra. The temperature is extremely high for the time we are in. The training we received in the Moroccan desert will surely be useful, although we did not anticipate the heat, which at times seems unnatural. The breeze is so warm that the posts we set up do not seem like good shelter. Inside, it becomes unbearable at times. We have sent a meteorological report to the Mission Command Center for analysis to guide our next move. At the moment, we can only provide a description of the location, contrasting it with maps, and some data that the U.S. government has managed to filter since 1987. The settlements match what we received previously in the photographs captured the previous year. Some lack doors and windows, so we suspect they may be uninhabited, although nothing rules out the possibility of an ambush or due to climatic conditions. August 9, 1990. We retract our initial impressions. We have observed civilian movement in the settlements. Apparently, they have removed doors and windows due to the heat. However, their faces show an attitude of calm and routine. While high temperatures complicate many tasks, they seem accustomed enough not to be visibly affected. We have noticed that many locals are removing cages from their settlements, mostly covered with skins and other lower quality fabrics. We have been unable to determine what they contain, but the movements are so natural that it seems to be a recurring activity. We are aware and have informed the base in Iskenderun, Hatay Province, Turkey, for study and confirmation of future movements. So far, the situation has been under control. August 10, 1990. Locals have taken more of these cages from inside their settlements than yesterday. Fortunately, the temperature has dropped enough to allow broader movements and extend our presence to the plain nearest to our position. We keep our attention on those cages. August 11, 1990. 3 miles northwest, we found a settlement full of cages covered with these tarps. The inhabitants seem quite unconcerned about taking care of them. We have seen them throwing them without much care, but most in some kind of order. They have also started placing a few lanterns. As the day has progressed, their frequency has decreased. Honestly, we have no idea where they got all these cages. No truck or similar vehicle capable of transporting such a quantity of metal bars has arrived. In the second report, we detailed the movements of the locals who, despite the enormous doubts this generates for us, have taken practically the majority of the material from inside their houses. We do not understand how or why they kept such a quantity of material inside their homes. We do not believe in any theory advocating for agricultural traditions or the like. This is undoubtedly some kind of threat. August 12, 1990. We managed to infiltrate for a few minutes among the cages that the locals left in the middle of the desert. Just before starting the operation, the few remaining residents decided to uncover them. To our surprise, we found that absolutely all of them were completely empty. This left us truly puzzled because we witnessed strange movements from the inside and an unusual frequency, above 1500 Hz, coming from under the tarps covering the cages. The only detail we have highlighted is some strange substances left on the ground, from where we were located.
Being one of the least documented events of the Gulf War, it began as a sabotage mission and ended up exposing one of the strangest and most bizarre customs in the Middle East. This operation turned out to be crucial for success in subsequent missions that addressed the Arabian Desert. Zorn Ravenscroft and Kai Thorne, members of the elite commandos of the United States Special Operations Command, were the main executors of the mission aimed at infiltrating the localities of Al-Wafra and the initial settlements of Al-Qira. The objective was to dismantle potential operations that could jeopardize American intervention, with these men posing as hostages of a group of Saudi traders who had been previously contacted and trained by the U.S. Army. Military bases located south of Turkey had geolocated precise spots where the likelihood of finding organized enemy groups underground was extremely high. In addition to this, weapons depots were likely the most dangerous and complex sites to locate, given the extensive security presence in the area. However, there was also the possibility that they were in plain sight, as was the case with a series of taverns scattered throughout the city of Al-Wafra. Having gained the trust of the locals, the Saudi traders were invited by one of the owners of these taverns to exchange the American soldiers for large sums of money. The purpose of this deal did not seem to be related to slavery or anything similar. In fact, the response was the most shocking and would completely change the course of the infiltration operation. Beneath the city, there existed a series of intricate tunnels where locals kept some strange creatures they affectionately always referred to as pets. These creatures were housed in large areas with low levels of security. They did not fear escape or hostility towards their owners. However, it was emphasized that they needed to be fed monthly with large sources of fat and protein. The man's account was more than detailed, providing the origin of these creatures, dating back over 3,000 years. They had inhabited the area, creating extensive underground tunnels and hiding in the sand during the summer months outside, blending almost perfectly with the terrain. While, and he repeated it many times, they were not aggressive creatures. They could become very violent if they went beyond the time limit without proper feeding. He mentioned that their method of reproduction was through matings that could last at least 3 weeks, producing eggs as small as a pin. Thanks to timely intervention, most of these creatures in captivity were eliminated in a swift operation that was carried out with the least possible commotion. After discovering some locals from peripheral communities who claimed that these animals would be used as weapons in the future war, efforts to eliminate the species became one of the primary objectives. From this point on, details were lost, and only in the still classified Army archives are the studies on these creatures and their fate documented.